All right, so today is this wild story of how you spend $400 worth of bolts on a very expensive car. That, my friends, is 400 bucks worth of bolts. I know. At least to give you a free 10-cent pack of lubricant with it, which you'll be using. So we're going to turn the lights on here. We're going to go ahead and finish this thing out today, which shouldn't take that long. And give us a little bit of that action going. We got some decent light up in here. Let's put this camera on the tripod. And like I said, we have 6 of them are done, so it should be easy to go back one bolt at a time. We'll swap them out and then torque them both down at once. So hopefully today we get that tidied up, and today or tomorrow we'll make a video on the Vanos pump. We'll recheck that on the clearance with our gauge. We'll drop our Vanos line in, and if all that goes well, I guess we're into putting the oil pan back on and tidying all this crap up before I forget where it all goes. Shouldn't be a problem, so let's get to it. Okay. I'll just hippity hop on in here and, oh. Break those babies loose. Okay, so it's a 7/16 12 point. So I found one crusty old one in my old toolbox. Might be good enough to go to 50 foot-pounds, might not. Just never know. Definitely an odd size. All you guys that know me know I don't have a lot of standard tools. And the ones I do sit there with dust all over them because, well, we'll never use those, right? Pull that, and then we're gonna put this stuff on here. We're just gonna squidge a little bit on the threads. I think a little dot around. So we have to lubricate these. I'm gonna put a little squidge on there. And we're just gonna put a little squidge on the head, and we'll take my finger and smear it around. And that's gonna keep the threads from galding. And the last one's use WD-40, because I'm not so sure it makes any damn difference. And then a little on the head, and that's it. We'll go and spin that back up in there. This is number 2 rod. Okay, so we're just gonna snug them up. We'll leave it, that should be good. I'm joking, of course. I'm just joking. So what we're gonna have here is a 3-inch, 3/8 extension, and of course we don't have it. I'll go to the other shop and grab that, and then we should be ready to start torquing down. There we go. And in regards to, oh, hold on. There we go. In regards to the $4,000 M5, a lot of you guys think I'm still gonna buy that. I'm not gonna buy that. Can you imagine if you're my financial planner, financial advisor, and it's bad enough about this car, but if I went and bought another one, I'd probably quit. Probably worse. Let me see, you go 50 foot-pounds. 40, 50. Probably some kind of meltdown or something, I'm sure. You see me buying that crap. It is tempting though, to be honest. So we're just gonna go kind of a couple stages here. We'll get it nice and snug. There's 50. These torque down so much better. Those other bolts are just too squishy. These torque down just absolutely perfect. So let's fish out number one. Number one's gonna be about as fun as getting poked in the eye. Number one is by a long stretch the most difficult one to get to on this whole engine. Probably somewhere right in there. You don't want to take both these out at once, because what's going to happen, well, let me show you here real quick while I got this out, the difference in these ARP bolts. And you can see here, the ARP being this one on the right, the head is smaller, and the shaft has no threads up here, to where the OEM has threads on the shaft, coarser threads and finer threads as you go down further. Other than that, they're identical. I told the set for the hardness of the bolt, which is extreme in ARP situation here. Let's see, reading the instructions here, make sure there's adequate chamfer around the bolt hole, connecting rod cap to clear the radius under the head bolt. Use lubricate threads, head under the bolt. Okay, already knew that. ARP recommends using a stretch method when tightening rod bolts, following instructions using a stretch gauge. If you do not have a stretch gauge, torque the bolts to 50 foot-pounds. Okay. This is what we thought. I already knew 50 foot-pounds. We already read that online before we started this, but I figured while we're here, we'll just go ahead and read the old instructions. Read the old instructions. Using my left hand. Okay. Do them again just to make sure. That's so much better of a system, boys, let me tell you what. But still, absolute highway robbery for the price of those bad boys. Okay, 1 and 2 is done. Number 3 and 4. If I rock that back just a hair, I get both those all in one go. All right, about torque number 3. They just tighten down so nice. There's number 3, number 4. All right. Number 6 getting torqued. Okay, so that's all the ones we've done so far with the new bolts. So now we're in 7 and 8 cylinder. We're gonna have to change the bearings on these. Pull this cap all the way off. We're gonna set it here in our tray to not get the sides mixed up on which is which. There we go. Let's go ahead and put that right there. We're gonna toss these bolts. Then, let me see here. Chevy guys coming over watching these videos is freaking out. But on small block Chevy, you would never do any of this. If you have any kind of bearing problem, you take the engine totally out, redo everything. They're very sensitive. These are not quite as sensitive, and to change bearings in them like this are common practice. Now this upper doesn't look bad at all in here. This is number 7. You can see here, maybe, Jesus Christ, come on. A little bit of copper, brass, whatever you want to call it, but it's not that bad. Pull that up out of there. Engine pre-lube on the bearing. And we're just going to push that right back on there. Try my best not to drop that. We need to make sure and get that oil channel lined up. Get in there, you heifer. There we go. That's on there. Wipe some oil off my hands. You just go right back on with the next one. Get one out of the tray. It goes up like that. Goes down like so. Okay, going back in, push it back on there, and just to make sure we're all golden, make sure the cracks and everything line up, they do. So we didn't get a bolt. I get a bolt, put some grease on it. All right. All right, so just snug up our fingers. You look at the gap, make sure it's right, and it is. Okay. Check the gap where the rod meets together and the cap meets together. It's perfect. Number 7's done. Number 8, here we come. It's already turned right. Oh, that's nice. Now, how long ago that stopped? That's sketchy. Might have ruined the whole video. Look down, the camera is off. So this is number 8. This is the top, and then, good thing that wasn't still good. The top and the bottom, right here. You see all the copper on the bottom. But I thought we had broke or had spun a bearing, but it wasn't. All it was when I pulled the bearing cap off, it had stuck to the crank. Okay. Put new bearing in this, new bearing. Pre-lube. I wonder where the camera even stopped here. I wonder how long ago it stopped. That's sketchy. That's real sketchy. Might be doing the whole rod bearing video for nothing if it didn't record none of it.
Done, or are you coming one more time?
He's coming one more time. Okay. Number 9, number 10. And this baby's done. Yeah. So that one, I mean, they all kind of look the same within reason. I got a little bit of copper showing on that one, but they're not terrible yet, but they, I mean, from what I've seen other people take out of their cars, they're pretty good. I sure the hell wouldn't keep running those and think that it was going to turn out okay though. If you notice here, I'm using a microfiber towel and not a regular towel because these have no fuzz on them, right? That's a pretty big deal. I'm gonna have to tap that one just a little bit, that bearing. Just a little tappity tappity. It's about 1/16 of an inch slid down. we go. Right about right there. Double check it, everything looks good. All the crank journals on this whole thing look absolutely perfect. I've checked every one so far. In fact, a lot of you guys are gonna say, that's not true. So let's bring you in there. Let's bring you in there for a little show and tell, as we'll call it here. A little show and tell. There it is. Can't ask for any better than that. That's pretty much right on the money. And let's see here. All right, let's go ahead and drop in the cap with the new bearing. We'll pull that down there. And I flip this one around. If you just take a little look-see here, you can see that goes just like that. And you can tell because where they're broken, they're jagged. No, it doesn't. I'm lying to you. It goes like that. Yep. But you can see, oh, you can't see, but there's no way you can mix them up as long as you're paying attention. If you're not paying attention and you squish them down there on the wrong way, as soon as you start this engine, it's going to blow up. So there is a lot of user possibilities of changing bearings. All it's going to take is not to put the bearing notch in the right way for the oil, and it'll spin it. And we've gone our way to make sure those are all correct, and not only that they're correct, that they're lined up correctly in the notch. A lot of you guys say, oh, what do you mean by that? Well, if you look at the bearings that have little notches on them, there's really no way you can mix them up as long as you're paying attention. Tighten up the side of the rod to make sure everything's meshed right. Ow. At a weird angle. Okay. That's all done. Let's go ahead and pull number 10 out. Okay. And I'm going to show you a little something here, just so you can see clearly. So let's say you take one of these rod caps off and you drop it. So what I'm talking about is right here. You see how rough it is? And they cast those together and hit them with a whatever and break the rod. So the rod's one piece after it's casted or forged, whatever it is. So if you drop this and you smash up those little rough edges, it's not going to mesh up and you're going to be in trouble. So let's not show you first person. Let's put this over here and let's pull out the last one. It's just Murphy's Law that the very last one must be the most difficult to get out. As much as get out is put back in. Number 10 actually looks the best out of all of them. You can see here. Not really any copper at all. Every one of these I pull out, I put my finger on it and check the little knob and make sure has not been spun, which you pretty much know it has not, because by looking at the bottoms, but still. sighten down the rod, make sure that closes up. It did perfectly. We'll sight this side just to make 100% sure. 110% sure. Perfect. We'll check number 9 just to, you know, kind of overdo it a little bit. Make sure. All right. That's going to be it for that. Turn torque wrench back down. Let's grab the lid back on our prelude before we squish that. And let's grab all the bearings. And we're going to set them up here for you guys so you can take a look at them. The final result. Okay, zoom back out, maybe back in a little bit. And here's everything out, right? That one's got a little oil in it right there. They're all pretty rough, but none of them's really bad. This one and this one's kind of the worst two out of the whole bunch. And those were definitely tops. So there it is. All the rod bearings. Not really that bad of a job. Sputter ribs on me. But it is enough of a job getting to it, or you gotta want to do it, right? It is something you can do on jack stands. You don't have to do it on the lift, but it's a lot easier on the lift doing all that. If you had any kind of leaking rear main, any kind of other issue, you'd want to pull the engine to do this. You wouldn't want to even mess with it in the car. I could have the engine out a lot faster than doing what I did here and had it on the engine stand. And then once you have it on the engine stand, you can use the torque angle gauge if you have a correct one, because you could actually do the whole rotation all in one go. Up under the car, you can't do that. You get like a quarter or maybe a half a turn at the most, and you just can't do that. ARP bolts, stupid expensive, highway robbery, but I think it's a much needed item in this. Just budget that in if you're gonna do your rod bearings. If you own one of these cars, another $400 for that versus $179 for the OEM bolts. That's gonna be it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you very soon with the Vandals pump check next. Have a good day.